So for today's session, we're going to look at the past semester exam papers. So this is June 2016, and we will look at questions related to the last chapter in our syllabus, that is bivariate analysis. So bivariate analysis, whereby we're going to look into the correlation and simple linear regressions, how to deal with the question with correlation and simple linear regression in the past semester in the exam. Okay, how to write the answer and so on. Okay, basically the information, the discussion on this chapter is already on my YouTube channel, so you can check my YouTube channel for these videos. Okay, so it's about 1.5 hours, so you can go through. This is the whole discussion on bivariate analysis. Okay, so we have all the important items being discussed here. That is the how to draw a scatter plot and how to interpret information from the scatter plot, and how to compute manually the correlation coefficients, obtain the equations for the regression lines, and then compute the coefficient of determination and make prediction based on the regression equation line. And also in this video, I also have discussed on how are you going to interpret result that you obtain from the SPSS output. Okay, so basically in the final exam, in the exam assessment 2, you will see the same format, whereby we give you data and also maybe in terms of the output itself from the SPSS analysis, regression output analysis, and then regression analysis output. So and then from there you need to interpret whatever information that you can gather from the output itself. Okay. For the manual calculation, if you still have any problems, you can also refer to my other video in my other playlist in my YouTube channel, where you can see how you can calculate everything manually. Okay, so if you go to my YouTube channel, there is one other playlist that is called Easy Stats. Okay, so under the playlist Easy Stat, you can see several video, and the one that is related to this topic will be the one at the bottom here. So ada dua kat situ. So this is the correlation and regression number 1 and correlation and regression number 2. So these two video is related to the manual calculation of correlation and also regression, simple linear regression. So you can see how it is done manually, and also you can also see how it is one of the discussion on the past semester exam papers. This is from the diploma course. Okay, the diploma code. So this one, so dia ada yang ni untuk question number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this one, so question number 5, so yang number 12 ni. Alright. Also, you can see on how you can use your calculator to calculate manually, using the calculator to calculate all the information needed for your standard deviation and correlation. So this is one of the video that you can watch, the correlation and simple linear regression using Casio FX570MS, FX570991ES, and plus, and FX570991EX. So this one will guide you on step by step on how to solve the problems using calculator. Okay, solve the correlation and linear regression problem using calculator, how to calculate all the required values. So you boleh watch, boleh tengok kat yang ni. Alright. So without further ado, let's just continue with our session for today. So we're going to look into the past semester exam papers. So here it is the questions for June 2016. Okay, June 2016 dah lama kan. Okay, 6 years ago. Tapi it's still we can still use the data to come up with our discussion. Alright. So in this question, it says here table 9 give the information on the income in thousand of RM and charitable contributions in hundreds RM in 2015. So dia bagi dalam bentuk simplified version. So that means in this case, if you look through the data itself, so 76 here refer to 76,000. So the actual value here is 76,000. So okay, so this one is actually equal to 76,000. So this is 76,000 actual value. Meanwhile, for this one, so the charitable contribution is in hundreds. So which means that, so kalau 100 maksudnya ada 2 kosong lah kan. So this is equivalent to 15 and then tambah 2 kosong lah. So you have hundreds. Okay. So it means 15,000. Sorry, 1500. So this is in 100 of RM. So this one is in 1000. So 76,000. And this one is 1500. So it means 1500. Okay. So you have to be very careful with the unit use if it is in the form of simplified version. Okay. Later on, I will show you why this is important for you to you have to take caution on this thing. Okay, later on kita tengok dalam soalan. Okay, and then it says here, for a random sample of 10 households, while the scatter diagram is shown in figure 1, the SPSS output are given in table 10 and table 11. So dia bagi dia punya scatter diagram. Okay, they give you the scatter diagram and also the output table. Okay, the output table. Okay. First question asks you, okay, before we go on with the answering the questions, okay, remember for this particular questions, it combined the correlation and the regression analysis into one questions. Okay, they combinedkan correlation analysis dengan regression analysis into one question because both of this is using the same data set. Okay, both of this is using the same data set. So in this situation, normally when you deal with correlation, it doesn't matter whether which one is X, which one is Y. So kita tak pentingkan yang mana satu independent, yang mana satu dependent variable. Okay. However, in this situation, when you look into the regression analysis, it is important for you to identify the dependent and the independent variable. So that means even though you know that correlation it doesn't concern regarding the dependent and independent variable, but you still need to identify the independent and dependent variable starting from the correlation analysis because it will be used it will be further used into the regression analysis. So maknanya kita kena identify dulu lah dependent dengan independent variable tu apa. Okay. Okay, there are several terms yang digunakan untuk menggambarkan independent variable and dependent variable. So sometimes for the similar terms used for independent variables are the predictor variables. Okay, we also call the independent variable X as predictor variable. Sometimes we call this as the exogenous variable. Okay, exogenous variable, or sometimes we could call this as the input variables. Okay, ataupun explanatory variables. So boleh juga. Okay, explanatory input variable. So all these are the names used for referring to independent variable. Meanwhile, for the dependent variables, sometimes we use dependent variables, sometimes we use endogenous variables. Okay, the term used. Or maybe in terms of sometimes we also use the term response variable and also outcome variable. So all these terms are referring to dependent variables. Alright. Okay. So let's see what the question asks you in terms of this data analysis. Alright. So the first question asks you, based on the scatter diagram figure 1, comment on the relationship between the two variables. So when you look into the scatter diagram here, you have to comment. So in general, you can just see whether is there exists an increasing or decreasing relationship. Okay. So nak kat sini kita boleh tengok sama ada dia increase ataupun decrease. If you want to draw a straight line, can you draw a straight line across the line across the points? Kalau boleh lukis satu garis lurus across the point, that means there exists a linear relationship between the two variables, and whether the relationship is positive or negative depending on the line, whether it is upward slope or downward slope. Okay, adakah dia meningkat ataupun menurun. So in this situation, you can see that if you want to draw a straight line across this data set, you can see that you can draw lines something like this, right? Okay, so you can draw a line something like this, and you can see that the data point is close to the straight line. Okay, the data point is close to the straight line. If the data point is close to the straight line, you can say that the relationship between x and y is strong. Okay, is strong. If the value, the point here is farther away from the straight line that you have drawn, then you can say that the strength is weakened. Okay, so semakin jauh data point tu daripada garis lurus yang kita lukiskan, maka semakin lemah kekuatan dia, perhubungan dia. So kalau semakin dekat dia dengan garis lurus tersebut, maka semakin kuatlah kekuatan perhubungan antara x dengan y. Okay, so in this situation you can see that the relationship exists, and the relationship is a positive relationship. Why is it positive? Because the line is an increasing line. If the line is decreasing, then it will be a negative relationship. So how are you going to answer the first questions? So what you can say here is just simply give the answer to be you can just say there exists a strong, this is the strength, and then you must have the direction positive linear relationship between the two variables. And in this case, if you want to be specific with the variables, you can name the variable as what it is given. Okay, and an optional in this situation, if you want to comment on the graph, okay, the scatter plot graph, it is optional for you to put the strength. Okay, kalau tak letak strength tak apa, just positive linear relationship is acceptable. But it is best for you to also include the strength of the relationship based on your visualization. Okay, baik. Tapi janganlah pula you nampak macam benda tu strong tapi you pergi letak weak, memang totally salah lah. Okay, that is the situation. And then the second question asks you to identify the independent and the dependent variable. So what is the independent variable and what is the dependent variable? Okay, to identify the independent and dependent variable, you have two ways. Okay, you ada dua cara. Basically, based on the first one is based on the output given. You can see that it's clearly stated here, dependent variable charitable contribution. So dia dah bagi tahu dah, charitable contribution is the dependent variable. So that means the one in the model will be the independent variable. If it doesn't mention the dependent variable at the bottom here, you can also identify the variable by looking the variable in the model. So the variable in the model is the independent variable, and the variable that is not in the model will be the dependent variable. Okay, so in this situation it gives you both, right? So you can just identify the dependent variable and independent variable. So in this case, the independent will be the income in RM 1000, right? And then the dependent variable will be the charitable contribution, right? So charitable contributions, and this is in RM. hundreds. Okay, so that is the answer for the second one. And then for the third one, they ask you, based on the data given, prove that the correlation is 0.945. So dia suruh proof. So that means bila dia suruh proof, dia kena buat calculation. So you have to perform the calculation. Okay, how to perform the calculation? Here they give you the data set. Okay, they give you the data set. That means you have to calculate and get the correlation value. So in order to calculate the correlation value, you need the summation of all the needed information. Okay, you need the value for the summation of x, summation of y, summation of x square, summation of y square, and summation of xy. So these are all the things that you need to find. Okay. Alright, so this is the things yang you kena dapatkan lah. So macam mana kita dapatkan all this information? So let me just get this value. So ini boleh simply ni dah. Okay, let me do this very fast. Okay, kita boleh buat dengan guna Excel lah. So kita gunakan Excel lah, ataupun nak gunakan yang lain pun boleh. So saya gunakan Excel lah mudah untuk tunjukkan secara manual. And then kalau you nak gunakan calculator, you boleh check saya punya video tadi yang saya tunjukkan, boleh gunakan calculator so no problem. So let me just use the Excel untuk tunjukkan, untuk dapatkan dia punya informasi Okay, so let's look at the data. So you have this data set. So macam mana masukkan data ni? So kena tulis satu lah kot income and charitable So let me just get 7657,140. So let me just clip this one first So saya nak clipkan dia. So macam mana nak clipkan dia? Let me tak rasa senang sikit apa, tak payah nak ni lagi more tools web capture. Okay, saya nak kat sini supaya saya boleh nampak Okay, I want to get this value first. Okay, the first one is 76, and then you have 57, 140, and then you have 97, 75, 107, 65, 77, 102, and then 53. Okay, and then next one you have 4, 28, 18, 10, 32, 5, 33, and then 42, 4, 15. Okay, so this one is X and this is Y. Okay, so you have X and Y. So let me just make it nak centerkan ni, sikit tengok. Alright. Okay, first saya nak dapatkan dia punya xy. So sorry, x kuasa 2. So I want the x square. So I want the x square and then I need the y square untuk kira dia punya regression. Okay, sometimes kita gunakan xx, yy gitu. So tak apa boleh. So and then last kali kita nakkan xy. So we want the xy. So x squared is just simply square the value of x. So this one is just simply this and then you square. Okay, you get this value. And then for y squared, you have this to be, and then square. Again, you autofill. And then for the xy, you need to have it to be equal to this, you multiply with this one. Okay, you fill this. Okay, and then you want the sum, right? So with all this, take the sum. Tidak. Saya boleh plot kat sini. Okay, so you get this value here. Okay, so these are all the values that is needed for the okay, so this is all the summation value required. So that means you dah dapat sini ya. So this case you dah dapat nilai ni. So saya akan just letakkan lah kat sini. So I just copy, Ctrl C, saya masukkan kat sini lah. Okay, from here you get the value for the summation. So let's say here you have the summation. Okay, so this is x, sum of x. And this is sum of y. Okay, and then this one sum of xx ataupun x kuasa 2. And then this one will be sum of y kuasa 2. And finally you have the sum of xy. So this is sum of xy. And last kali you ada n. So n sama apa? N sama dengan 10 kan? Sebab kita ada 10 saja. Okay. So once you have all this value, then you can use the formula for r square. Okay, apa formula r square? Okay, what is the formula for r square? So you can check this one. So dekat sini dia ada bagi formula untuk r square. Mana dia? Okay. So this is the formula for r. So it gives you SSXY divided by the square root of SSXX dengan SSYY. So what is SSXY? So in this case, SSXY is simply equal to, kita tulis kat sini saya tulis sini, so SSXY, this is similar to summation of X, sorry, okay, this is summation of XY minus summation of X summation of Y divided by N. And then S X, so this is just simply summation of X kuasa 2 minus summation of X, the whole thing square divided by N, and meanwhile SSYY is just simply equal to summation of Y square minus summation of Y square divided by N. Okay, so from the data that we have just now, you can calculate the value of the summation. Okay, for this one, okay, you boleh dapatkan dia punya summation so you can calculate the summation. So SXX sama dengan apa? And then you can dapat juga SXY. Sekejap, saya buka tempat lain saya buka luar ni lah. Okay, you can calculate the SXX. Okay, you have SXX equal to, and then SYY equal to, and then SXY equal to. Okay, so kalau you kira yang ni, you boleh dapatkan lah. So let me just calculate this very quick. So saya buat kat online, so you can teruskan jawapan. So you boleh terus, you pun boleh kira sama So let's just continue to calculate this together. So summation of XX is simply taking the summation of X square minus the summation of X, the whole thing square divided by N. So kita ada summation of X square will be 78475, and then minus summation of X is 849 square divided by 10. So you get this to be 6394.9. Okay, and then for the second one, summation of YY, you have 5367 minus summation of Y will be 191, so 191 square divided by 10, so you get this to be 1718.9. And then finally for the XY, so you have summation of XY, so 19352 minus summation of X times summation of Y, so minus 849 times 191 divided by 10. So you get 3136. So 3136.1. Okay, so you dapat yang tu So for this situation, to calculate the value of R, so this is just simply equal to, R is equal, apa dia? So kita ambil summation of XY divided by the square root of summation of XX multiply with summation of YY. So in this case, you akan dapat summation of X. Okay, so this one is SSXY divide by, okay, SQRT the whole thing will be SSXX times SSYY. Okay, so this gives you the value to be 3136.1 divided by the square root of, okay, the square root of 6394.9, and then multiply with ataupun times 1718, 1718.1. So kita kira yang ni, kita akan dapat jawapan dia. So let's just calculate this one. So your 3136.1 divided by the square root of 6394 multiply with 1718.1. Okay, you will get the value to be 0.946, right? So kita akan dapat lah. So kalau kat sini, kat kalkulator saya 9461. Okay, 9461. Okay, by that tak payah kira lah kan, sebab kita nak buktikan. So this has been proven. So this one is proof. Alright, so that is for the C. Okay, itu adalah untuk yang C. So kita dapatkan based on the data given, prove that the correlation coefficient is 0.946. So first of all, you calculate the summation for all the element and get the value. Okay, alright, so that is for C. And then the fourth one, interpret the value of the correlation coefficient obtained. So you can see that this value is very close to 1, right? So this value is very close to 1. So that means there is a very strong positive linear relationship. Okay, so there is a very strong positive linear relationship. And then why positive? Because the value is positive, right? So you can see there exists, there is a very strong positive linear relationship between the two variables. Okay, alright, and then the second one they ask you, okay, itu adalah untuk yang correlation coefficient. So dia ada dia punya direction positive, and then dia ada dia punya strength very strong. So mesti ada dua-dua tu And to make this more complete, you can just replace the two variable with the given variable. So what you can say here will be there is a very strong positive linear relationship between income and charitable contribution. Okay, so you can just replace the two variables, alright? And then state the value of the coefficient determination and interpret its meaning. The coefficient of determination is just simply the value of r square. So you look under the r square, so this is r square. So r square actually the square of 0.946. So you square 0.946, you get the r square 0.895. So this is the coefficient of determination. Okay, so in this case, you have to find the value of r square. So r square this is equal to berapa tadi? 0.895. So this is 0.895. Okay, that is the value of r squared. And then how to interpret? Interpretation. So to interpret the value of R squared, the coefficient of determination, you have to convert the value to percentage. So 0.895 means that it is 89.5%, right? So you can just say 89.5% of what? 89.5% of the variation in Y. Of the variation in Y. So Y itu apa? Okay, the variation in Y. So in this case, Y is the charitable contribution, right? So charitable contribution, right? Okay, 89.5% variation in Y. Okay, can be explained by the variation in X. And in this situation, X is what? X is income. Okay, so that is how you interpret the value of X. The value of the okay. Okay, so that is how you interpret the value for the coefficient of determination. So you can just say 89.5% of the variation in Y or the charitable contribution can be explained by the variation in X, that is income. Okay, the next thing they ask you to find the value of X, only 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks, the value of X. Where is X? So this is the value of X. Value of X is actually the coefficient for income. Okay, the coefficient for income. How you can find the value of X? So you can find the value of X using the formula. Okay, you can have the formula in this situation, the value of X. Kalau you tengok dari formula, so B is equal, so this is B, so SSXY divided by SSXX. So boleh dapatkan nilai ni, so boleh gunakan yang tu. Okay, so in this case you can find the value of X. X is equal to SSXY divided by SSXX. So this is equivalent to SSXY will be 3136.1 divided by XX is 6394.9. So calculate this one, you should get the value to be 3136.1 divided by 6394.9. So you get this to be 0.49. 0.4904. Okay, so you get this value. Okay, so this is using the formula, or you can also use a similar the alternative of calculating using the formula here. You can also find it using another formula. Okay, you boleh juga gunakan yang ni. So if you are given the value of T, okay, you can just calculate the value of B is so in this case X is just simply equal to the T statistic multiply with the standard error. Okay, the T statistic multiply with the standard error. So in this case, the T statistic, if you look through the questions, so the T statistic is given by 8.246, right? Okay. beta divided by itulah. Okay, so you have this to be 8.246, and then you multiply with the standard error is 0.059, 0.059. So you should get the correct answer, the same answer. So if you calculate this one, you get 8.246 multiply with 0.059, so you get 0.4865. Okay, this is an approximate value. So dia akan dapat approximate value of the value for the beta coefficient. Okay, boleh juga guna yang tu. Okay, dia akan dapat 48. Dia lari sikit lah. Okay, but the actual one is this one. So yang ni just an alternative. Kalau katakan you tak ingat lah. Right. Okay, so boleh juga guna yang tu. Okay, so any other questions on that one? Next, we're going to look at the next question. So the next question says that based on the SPSS output, write the complete regression equation. Interpret the slope in the context of the problem. So in this case, dia katakan in the context of the problem. So dia katakan in the context of the problem, you must use the variable given in the problems, right? So let's just write the equation first. The equation is given by this formula. So the general form of the equation is y equal to a plus bx, right? So in this case, you can just write this as, okay, so this is y equal to a plus bx. So you can write this in the form of the equation is y equal to, what is the constant value a? The constant value a is given by the constant. So negative 22.536, right? So get negative 22.536. Okay, negative 22.536. Okay, negative 22.536, and then the value of b is positive, right? So this is positive. Just now kita kira kan. So value of b is positive. That is 0.4904. So plus 0.4904, and then times with x. Okay, so that is the regression equation. And then to interpret the slope, so in this case the slope is equal to 0.4904. So b is equal to 0.4904. So kita ambil mudah so 0.49 saja. Okay, ambil yang dekat so 49, unless dia katakan gunakan 4 titik puluhan, dia kena gunakan semua lah. So b is equal to 0.49. So how to interpret this? So the interpretation of this one is just simply that for each additional unit increase. So unit kat sini apa? So this one x is in Rm, right? So x is in Rm. Okay. For each additional Rm, okay, kita gunakan Rm, so in this case, okay, for each additional Rm, ataupun for each additional 1 ringgit Malaysia increase in income, okay, and then y, so y is what? The charitable contribution, right? Charitable contribution will increase Berapa nilai dia? 0.49 by RM, 0.4049 okay, by RM 0.49. So this is how you write the answer. Ataupun kalau you nak ubah terus dia punya nilai, okay, what you can say is that, so let me just replace this into the value itself. Sekejap, saya tulis kat bawah, nanti saya naikkan ke atas. Or you can just say that for each additional, kita tukar terus dia punya unit, additional increase of income by, dia guna apa? 1000 kan? RM 1000, charitable contribution will increase by, okay, kita tukar terus 0.49 tu dalam bentuk hundreds, so kita darabkan dengan 2, so kita dapat RM 49 ringgit. Okay, so this is for the second interpretation. So you boleh gunalah mana-mana you nak. So this one is for the second interpretation. Okay, so that is for the second last question. And then the last question asks you to estimate the charitable contribution in 100 of RM. If the income is RM 80,000. So in this situation, we want to estimate the value of Y given that the value of X is this much. But in this situation, you have to be very careful because the original data is using the simplified form of data. But in this case, they give you in the form of the actual values, right? So in this situation, whenever you want to substitute the value of X in the equation, you need to really understand what is the value, the actual value of X that you want to substitute in the formula, in the equation. So here X is the income is given by 80,000, but so in this situation, actually, the value of X is equal to not 80,000 but only 80 because this is similar to RM 1000, right? Okay, so the amount that you need to replace is 80, not 80,000. Okay, do not substitute 80,000 in the equation because 80,000 is the actual data. However, in this calculation, we use the simplified form of data where 80,000 is being replaced with 80 only. Okay, sebab kalau kita tengok data asal, okay, tadi kita ada data asal kita dekat atas ni, is given that in term of 76, right? So 76 ni means 76,000. 57 means 57,000. So that means 80,000 you have to replace by 80, not by 80,000. Okay? So having that in mind, so you can just substitute the value. So Y is equal to negative 22.536 plus 0.4904. Saya ambil yang tepat. Okay, boleh je guna ambil yang tepat. So 4904 multiply with 80. Right? So this gives you the value to be equal to, so what you have here will be negative 22.536 plus 0.4904 multiply with 80. So you get this to be 16,696. Okay, 16,696. So this is in RM 100. Okay, or equivalently, so this is equivalent to, you ubah terus lah. So dia akan jadi RM 1169.6. Okay, so that is the solution. Okay, boleh. Alright, so you have this solution for this part. So dah complete untuk semua. So all the information that we have discussed in the chapter 5 is in the question itself. So these are the type of question that you will see during the final exam and also during the test. So inilah yang you akan dapat lihat. So di mana they give you a scatter plot, they give you the data, you have to read from the scatter plot. You have to explain what it means and so on. So and then read from the table dan jawablah soalan-soalan yang berkaitan dengan output tersebut. Okay. Okay, boleh. And then for another case just now saya tunjukkan macam mana kita nak kirakan nilai X ni. Kita boleh juga gunakan beta bahagi dengan so the B value here can also be found by taking the T value multiplied with the standard error. So in this case you can also find the B is simply equal, so this is just a note. B is equal to the T times the standard error. Okay, this is the approximate value. So tapi yang ni bila you darabkan the B with the standard error, T with the standard error, you might not get the actual data kat sini. Kalau katakan kat sini tadi kita dapat lain kan. So when you calculate manually, you get 0.4904. But when you calculate this directly, 8.246 times 0.059, you get only 0.48 something. Okay, kenapa berbeza? Because this is only the approximate value. Actually, this value, they have another value. Ada lagi nilai kat belakang-belakang tu. Cuma dia tak tulis lah sebab dia tulis hanya 3 titik perpuluhan saja. And then the same thing with this one. So that's why if you calculate directly this one with this one, you will get the value of B. But the value of B is just a approximate value because this one is already a truncated value. Okay, nilai-nilai ni dah ditruncate. So yang ni dah dibundarkan kepada 3 titik perpuluhan. Yang ni pun sama, telah dibundarkan kepada 3 titik perpuluhan. Of course, there is some rounding of error. Okay. Sebab tu saya tak letakkan yang ni lah. So that's why I just don't want to put it here. Okay, tapi itu idea yang ada lah. Alright. So any questions so far?